breakfast puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Glitterbois.
Hey folks, we're back, and with a little bit of a lineup change. Our longtime host, Matthew, had some things come up in life and has had to step away, and we're kind of sad about that. He's been here since the beginning, huge contributor, massive Robotech fan, keeping me company as NPC just shakes his head at us.
And don't get us wrong, this was a mutual thing. Well, it was mostly his idea, and hopefully he will come back.
Yes,
we would love to have him back. No
bad blood, no bad terms.
No,
it's a case of life.
It's a case of life.
Yeah. And so we were thinking, Three Voices has really helped Glitterbois a lot, and NPC was chewing on who would be a good third spot. And we're like, well, who do we know who's a rabid Palladium fan, relatively well-spoken, unhinged enough to put up with us? And a eureka moment happened, and we're being joined by our new special and hopefully reoccurring, possibly permanent guest. Would you care to introduce yourself, sir?
Why, thank you. But I heard there was that guy you were talking about wasn't able to make it. Right? My name is Matt Buckley. I have known these two gentlemen for quite some time. And I've been playing Palladium games since the early 90s. I was one of those people who found the Robotech book first and then immediately tried to bring my Veritech into Rifts.
As all right-thinking people do.
Absolutely.
And it's just going to get destroyed pretty quickly.
I know. It was horrible. It was a horrible idea. You just do the numbers and you're like, what's a Glitterbois? Oh, crap. Yeah. And immediately had to rebuild the Veritech, and thus we became an economic empire. I also got shanghaied into running a Rifts-based MUX for almost 18 years.
Oh, yeah.
Which was an amazing experience with a bunch of people. Still know a lot of people from that. And then some of you may know me from I'm the guy who helped start WagonCon out in the Dalles and have been running that convention, which I get lots of great support from all of you for it, which is awesome.
Wait. I know that we've always here Breakfast Puppies supported WagonCon, but does this make us official?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Official. Absolutely. The sponsor contract will be in the mail. Unfortunately, it might be a little backwards than you're used to.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I spoke.
No,
why are we paying them to what?
Yeah, WagonCon is a reverse pyramid scheme, which has always really been great. But yeah, no, I'm very excited to be here. I appreciate this opportunity. I've been looking to be part of your podcast for a while in different ways, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
And something else you bring to this discussion group, Buckley, is that you have a pretty heavy love of part of the property that we're not really all that invested in, which is the savage side of Rifts.
Yes. I was an early adopter of the Savage Rifts and loved what it did with the system, what Sean Patrick Fanning did with the system, and how he brought a bunch of people that had always stay away from Rifts because of the reputation that some people have. And it became a gateway drug. And it was amazing how many people I have worked with and played with at various conventions who I always wanted to play Rifts, but the system, intimidated me. But I know Savage Worlds. And then I got them into playing Palladium Rifts as well. So that's, I'm super excited for that, especially some of the things you guys have interviewed them on and talked to Kevin and Sean about it and about the storylines keep going. And they aren't necessarily cross-compatible per se, but they are the same world, and it's really cool.
You're totally spot on about that whole bringing in new people. especially at conventions, because case in point, I remember being at GameStorm one year when they had the Savage Saturday, and it was right after the Savage Rifts came out, and that Savage Saturday was almost entirely Savage Rifts.
Yes.
It was fascinating.
Yeah, it was super exciting. I've been to the Palladium open house, and actually I ran about 50-50 at the Palladium warehouse. At the Palladium open house, I was running Palladium Rifts and Savage Worlds Rifts. And people were like, and that was, I won't say that they were hostile about me running Savage Rifts there, but it was kind of a weird feeling. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I get it now. Oh, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. But that is me in a nutshell. Longtime gamer, do not whatever I can. Okay. I do a lot what I can to push the industry and push everything forward. And I love Palladium. I have so many Palladium books. I now, when I do the Christmas grab bag, I basically say, surprise me. I would love artwork. I have everything else. And this year they wrote me back and said, Matt, we're out of anything we can give you. And I'm like, just give me things I can give away at the conventions. They're like, okay. So I got a stack of pencils and pads and all sorts of cool things that I'll be giving out as prize support. So super excited.
I remember the first time I went to your house and you showed me the collection on the shelves in the glass case. It was very impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you.
I guess we should really break into why we actually asked you here. And that is, what is your favorite Rifts book?
Oh, what is my favorite Rifts book?
And you're allowed to go, you're allowed to split and go, this is my favorite Savage Rifts book, and this is my favorite mainline Palladium Rifts book, if you need.
I don't need to do that. Probably because I wouldn't pick a Savage Rifts book, because there's not enough of them yet. And I don't feel it's a fair choosing, right? And there's been several different main authors who've kind of done that. I would have to say probably my favorite Palladium Rifts book. It's really a toss-up, and I was just talking about this. It's either New West or Juicer Uprising, and New West, because if you want to play in a Palladium Rifts game, and you don't want to have as much of the CS, and you want to be in kind of the frontier land, and really just kind of enjoy this setting without as much of the stuff, it fits so well.
Also, the character classes in New West, I think, are largely more close in level to each other.
Yeah.
It's so easy to put together a party of adventurers all made from the New West book exclusively and have them fit together, make sense, and not be too off on the power scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Juicer Uprising, it's a pivotal point in the timeline and the history of Rift's Earth. And it has some great little instances and hints about what's going on and the coalition states. And when you really figure out that while the coalition states is this massive organization, the juicers scare them. And the juicers really make them nervous, even though they outnumber them. Live fast, die young, leave a good looking corpse. And there's 50,000 of us come at us, you know, and it's just such a great, I also have a soft spot there because Kingsdale is one of my favorite cities to run Rifts games in. Kingsdale is really one of my favorite all-time hodgepodge cities. It has everything you would want to run a game in, at least a good starting point, in my opinion. So,
and what is your experience with Palladium products outside of Rifts?
I've done a little bit of Nightbane. I've done a decent amount of Heroes Unlimited, actually.
Yep.
That was a really fun one.
It's kind of why I'm happy to have you here.
I'm also the one-off king. I have run system failure games. I have run splicers games. I have run scrapers games.
Ooh.
And I've run what is the other one that's on the tip of my tongue, and it's not coming to me. I can
Recon.
Not Recon.
I know he hasn't run Recon.
No,
it's something I have to fix.
I haven't run Recon.
It's a deficit.
There's another one that's like, for some reason, it'll come to me.
Valley of the Pharaohs.
No, that predates me. I'm really happy I got into the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I went in way too heavy on the Kickstarter.
I held back because I had already gone way too heavy on the TMNT one. Way too heavy.
Oh, TMNT.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a one-off one, but I have all the TMNT books, and that was probably one of my earliest role playing game books I ever got to read. I was at a Christian weekend camp retreat, and one of the guys left it on his bunk, and I couldn't sleep because I was like, I don't know, I was like 10, 8, pretty young, and I was kind of worried, like I was home, first time not being with my parents, and I got that book and I sat in the corner for like 4 hours reading that book. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I want to do this. How does this work? And then he took it back from me and I never saw it again. And I was so sad. But that's me. New West and Juicer Uprising.
And besides, you have Colorado right there, so you have all of the cannabis for all of your TW needs.
We will have, if I survive the gauntlet that is the guest host, I may request a revisiting of the Techno Wizard conversation, but I'll wait for that.
I'll just note that I wasn't against the class. I thought it was pretty cool.
I agree. Yeah. I think someone in this room may have had some very weird experiences with Techno Wizards.
Well, Buckley, thank you for joining us. Like we've said, you're not necessarily new voice. Some of our listeners who were listeners back when we were doing Bikers, Dice, and Bars will hear your voice and go, it sounds slightly similar. Yes, it's the same Buckley.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in addition to his massive love of Palladium products, Riffs in particular, he also may have bribed his way on with access to his Irish whiskey collection.
I didn't bring a bottle this time. Maybe next time I'll have a bottle show up or not.
I think as penance. I think it's penance. I think,
the hybrid's not coming. The hybrid is not coming.
Damn it. I want a bottle of that Teeling hybrid. I think that would pay for your crimes.
See, here's the thing. He's talking about penance. I'm sitting here going, ooh, the acumen on this man. I have to get the invite back to the second episode.
I thoroughly enjoyed what was supposed to be a let's make riffs characters with whiskey that turned into let's do a flight of 6 whiskeys, 7 whiskeys. And by the time we were done,
it was supposed to be 3 whiskeys, and then it turned into 7.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic time.
It was.
Folks, we're talking about an episode of our sister podcast, Bikers, Dice, and Bars, which has Buckley educating us on Irish whiskeys and his collection. It's massive and beautiful.
Yes. He may have as many whiskeys in his collection as he has Riffs books.
Oh.
No.
Actually, you haven't. I have 3 cabinets now.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. How many shelves of Rifts books? Well, okay, you just said Rifts.
Riffs. I said Riffs. I said
Riffs. Not Palladium.
Yeah, not Palladium. But I have 3 cabinets of whiskey at this point, which is kind of crazy. And the game I was trying to remember is Dead Rain.
Oh.
And it's not really a one-off anymore.
It's not.
For the longest time it was. I have players on a game that I ran a number of years ago who still cannot drive by the lumber mill in White Salmon, Washington without getting freaked out.
It's freaky looking.
Well, when you have children zombies coming at you.
No, I know exactly what lumber mill you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was not in that game. And a few times I have driven past it in the night that this would make a good setting for a game.
This is while they're on the Oregon side of the road. They freak out. That's how freaked out they get when they go by that mill. And as a GM, it's amazing to have that impact on players years later. It's been a decade, and I'll still have people, they'll drive up and they'll go, hey, it's great visiting. We had to speed by the mill. Like, what? So, yeah.
Have you had any experiences running the complete role-playing game Chaos Earth?
I've not. I've attempted running that. Actually, I played in a game where I thought that was going to be the game, but we quickly didn't stay in that world. We changed worlds. But
I'm pretty sure I told everyone up front that was going to happen.
Did. Okay, you absolutely did. No shade there. Yeah. But no, it's an interesting concept. I thought it was really interesting. But the complete role playing game part, yeah.
Just like me sitting over here waiting for the book so they finally give us the Arcanist in 2nd edition Beyond the Supernatural. That's my life.
I can't actually say nope. Never mind. It's about to give away something that's coming up in one of my games.
Yes,
Can't
yes,
do it.
you have to keep
No.
your mouth shut.
Yep.
The secret project will not be spoken of.
I will say, I have never. No, I take that back. I have been in a single Palladium fantasy game, a one-off session run by the man himself at the Palladium open house.
Mm.
And watching Kevin run a game is amazing. Being in his game was amazing.
How many other players were there?
There were 10 of us, I think.
Okay.
which yeah. And then I've been in multiple Beyond the Supernatural games, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, and it's always been at the Palladium open house, and he has a continuing storyline that he runs at conventions. And and he has a 3-ring binder filled with all the PCs, and he updates the PCs once a quarter with what has happened in conventions. And so I got to play Moses Brown, who's basically a preacher / Blade, and it was really awesome.
Cool.
So I've played him twice. So.
Awesome.
Second edition, I'm guessing.
Yeah, second
Okay.
edition. Yeah.
Did it start in first edition?
It may have.
Oh,
It may
okay.
have.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Well, Buckley, I'm happy to have you with us, and we will discuss about your appearance fee that you owe us now. But yeah, no, look forward to hearing more of Buckley's voice. He's a huge fan, as you can guess, and we're happy to have him on board.
Thank you.
Okay. What is your favorite OCC besides Techno Wizard?
That would be the Gun Bunny Techno Wizard.
Oh, you cheat.
I don't know that one.
It's in Rifter 2. There are 3 Techno Wizard OCCs, I think, in Rifter 2, and the NPC Seduced Techno Wizard. And they are all.
Oh, yeah.
They're all variations of the Techno Wizard.
Which one has the Barnstormer?
Oh,
'Cause that was one that I thought was really cool.
that's a Rifter later on. I don't know
Okay.
the one off the top of my head.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
outside of Techno Wizards, I'm a builder person. I like building things in games. I like creating things. And so I often gravitate to like the Psi operator or just a straight up operator
Mhm.
who's trying to craft stuff and build stuff. Sometimes some of the rogue scientist occasionally.
Mm,
Mhm.
Unless I'm just going like, I want to be a chunky tank, and then I'll find the biggest, baddest Borg I can find, fit into the GM's idea of the game,
Yeah.
and just soak up damage and just be a big kind of wall.
Mhm.
But a lot of times I do builder type characters, which is a whole other thing in a lot of games that can be really frustrating on both sides. And that could be an interesting topic for some other time. But
That actually, we could talk for a while about that, because as a player, building can be really fun. But if the system you're playing in doesn't have good crafting or building mechanics, that means there's a lot of work being put on the GM who wants to accommodate it.
and beyond that, it also depends on the pace of the game in the story.
Mhm.
I have found that if you're a builder type character, but the GM is one of those people that every session is another like hour in the actual clock on the, you're constantly going from one emergency to another.
Mhm.
Building takes time.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's actually I've run into more problems with, because working out a system with a GM can be pretty easy or difficult, depends on how you want to do it. But anyway, but it's usually the story beats. Like a good friend of ours, Mr. Bowman, loves stories that just move, and they move and they move and they move and they move, and then they're done. And so there's no downtime. There's no time to build something. So him and I have to be careful with the characters I play with this game. So.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like I'm there for the first chapter and I disappear for 20 chapters and I come back for the end with this really cool thing.
Yeah.
That is a problem in a lot of games, and that would be a good discussion point for the future.
That would. Yeah. I've got a lot of responses and points to that coming up in my head right now that I'm going to save for later. Yeah. See, I know we brought you on for a reason.
Yeah.
Helping us fill out our already hundreds of items long list of potential possible things that we could talk about related to Palladium games.
Absolutely. Beyond just going through all the books, which would give you, a couple of years worth of material, and then the OCCs and RCCs. And
I mean, we got to give each OCC its moment in the spotlight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I need a retirement gig.
And then the Palladium Fantasy OCCs, and the Beyond the Supernatural OCCs, and Dead Ran OCCs, and the complete role-playing game known as Chaos Earth OCCs.
Which has some really good OCCs.
It really does.
It has some really good OCCs.
Actually, I really liked the basic grunt. I liked that approach to the MOS, that the way it did.
Yeah.
To the point that I'm like, I really wish that I had seen something like that at the beginning, and I try and port it backwards into things like the Coalition. Mm-hmm. And they may have even done that, I think, in one of the Coalition War campaign books. I think like the Specialist or something had that. But I was really impressed with that class. Yeah.
Yep. I think there are, I'm trying to remember what it's called, but there's a couple that in the OCCs in the Coalition War campaign that are that way.
Yeah.
I now desperately want to get you in a Dead Rain game of mine.
Dead Rain's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us, Buckley.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. I appreciate you making the drive from the Dalles. But I seriously, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, folks, join us on Discord if you haven't already. You'll notice Father Morpheus is one of our more prolific posters and sometimes rules lawyers of the forum. Okay, I'm joking. Not really, but kind of.
Try not to.
I would say rules reference points.
Rules reference points. Yes, there we go. Yeah. And maybe rules devil's advocate. Yeah.
Oh, really? A techno wizard fan is a rules lawyer. Really surprised.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And also, we welcome you to go back and listen to the Techno Wizard episode again, and then come back to our Discord and tell Jacob how he's wrong.
I stand by what I said. It's class with so much potential that has, in my experience, one man's experience, although
save it for the Discord.
Okay,
you know,
cool.
We've heard your words.
Yeah.
We've heard you. You
and agreed with, I might add.
Final words.
Thanks for joining us again here on the Glitterbois, and we'll look forward to talking at you again. More books to come, more topics to come, more guests to come.
Woohoo.
Both our now reoccurring guest Buckley, plus potential future other guests.
Mm-hmm.
We got more conversations with Kevin in the pipe, and a couple new voices will be joining us for guest spots.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Starships, magic, mystic martial arts, romance. All of these can be found in A Cloak of Blades by Isaac Scher. You might have heard my name before. I've done a lot of voiceover work for Breakfast Puppies, and I've recently released my first novel. It's available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback, and you can get it for free if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. I do hope you'll support my work as you're supporting Breakfast Puppies, and it's been a pleasure talking with you today. Have a good one.
You've been listening to The Glitterbois, a Palladium Books fan podcast. Glitterbois, Rifts, the Megaverse, and all other such topics are the property of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. Please buy all their stuff and help keep them in print and making more games. You can order directly at palladiumbooks.com, and their entire catalog is available digitally at Drive-Thru RPG as well. Our opening music is 8-Bit Bass and Lead by Furby Guy from freesound.org. This closing music is Caravana by Philip Gross, available at freemusicarchive.org. All sound effects used are self-made or acquired via Creative Commons Zero license. If you like what you have heard, find us on Twitter and Facebook as The Glitterbois. That's BOIS. And check us out online at breakfastpuppies.com/glitterbois. And also join us on the Breakfast Puppies Network Discord at breakfastpuppies.com/Discord. And if you want to help us out, please spread the word and help us build a community. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.